stop us, is it? Oh, no. No. Good afternoon. My name is Becky Pringle. I taught middle school students the wonders of science for 31 years. And now I get the privilege and honor of serving as the president of this nation's largest labor union, the National Education Association. Our teachers and bus drivers and cafeteria employees, our nurses, our educators in higher education, and counselors, our public service workers, all believe that our students deserve a public education that can, full stop, right? Yeah. A public education that can inspire their curiosity and imagination, where justice and joy prevail. We are dedicated to our work, and we are passionate about what we do. We believe that every student, black, white, AAPI, brown, indigenous students, all of them are students with disabilities. Our students are LGBTQ plus students. Every student deserves the resources and supports, the access and the opportunities that will help them live into their brilliance. Millions of Americans across this nation share our belief. Like us, they believe that every student deserves to attend a public school that is high quality, safe, inviting, welcoming, and inclusive. Public schools and the Department of Education exist to transform those shared beliefs into a reality for millions of public school students. 90% of our students and 95% of our students with disabilities learn in public schools. Every one of these students depend on and benefit from critical work that happens in the Department of Education. Every day. Lower income students and their families who live in rural and suburban and urban communities, students whose families qualify for federal grants or loans to receive career training or attend a 2- and 4-year college. All of that the Department of Education helps make happen. And Department of Education programs provide essential programs that support our students with disabilities. Public education is the foundation of this or any democracy. And the attempts to dismantle our public schools are an attempt to abolish our democracy. And you know what they're doing? They're putting more money and control into the pockets of billionaires like Elon Musk. Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. And what about the supremely unqualified Linda McMahon? The Senate must reject her as the Secretary of Education. You and I know that her sole goal is to reign over the destruction of the department and gut public education so they can't provide the services and funding our students need. They won't have the resources to protect the civil rights of our students. They can't protect what our students need to learn and succeed, job training and affordable college. We know this about Linda because she has spent years pushing policies that would defund and destroy public schools. So guess what? We will not be silent. No, we can't. We will stand up to McMahon and every other anti-public education politician, elected or appointed or anointed, who tries to harm our students, our educators, and our communities. With legal action, we will protect our students. Using legislative action, we will protect our educators. Organizing people action, we will rise up in every community across this nation. Let us be encouraged by the activists of Brazil when a fascist president rose to power. They knew the power of solidarity, collective action, and community, so they used this battle cry. No one let go of anyone's hand. No one let go of anyone's hand. With courage and clarity, we will mount our righteous fight. And we won't let go of anyone's hand. We will challenge this nation to live up to the poetry of its Constitution. We the people, we the people, we the people, all of us deserve that right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We won't let go of anyone's hands. Can you hear me? Our students, our babies are depending on us to be worthy of them. Reach out, grab hold, and don't let go of anyone's hand. Onward, onward, onward. See that we have a very special guest with us. Senator Bernie Sanders from the great state of Vermont has been standing up for students and working peoples and economic justice his entire life. Give it up for Senator Sanders.
Welcome to some Vermont weather. And let me concur with what Becky has said, but let me get to the point. A lot of things that are happening in Washington right now, a lot of things coming out of the president's mouth, but I'll tell you what the fundamental issue is. What these guys, the oligarchs and the billionaires, want to do is cut program after program, including education, in order to give massive tax breaks to the very richest people in this country. And at a time when 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck, when 800,000 are homeless, when people cannot afford health care, our message to them is simple. You are not going to give a dime in tax breaks to the richest people in this country. As Becky said, these oligarchs not only want to get more tax breaks, they want to privatize virtually every public service in this country. They want to privatize Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and the Veterans Administration and public education. They want to use taxpayer money to support private schools so that wealthy kids can get a discount. Now, we understand, as Becky said, that public education is the backbone of American democracy, where all of our people come together to learn and to grow. And our job is not to destroy public education, it is to significantly improve it. And one way we do that, one way that we tell the world that in this country we understand the importance of education, is to significantly raise teachers' salaries. It is absurd that 6 hedge fund managers on Wall Street earn more money than every kindergarten teacher in America combined. It is absurd that young people graduate college, want to be educators, they come in deeply in debt, they're making $35,000, $40,000 a year. No teacher in America should earn less than $60,000 a year. So not only are we going to stop the privatization of public education, we are not going to let them to destroy the Department of Education. Department of Education provides funding for 26 million kids who are living in high poverty areas all over this country. And we have the radical idea that maybe poor kids deserve the same quality education that rich kids do. That we're not going to turn our back on the black and the brown and Latino kids. That we're going to stand up for every kid in this country. Because we know that without a strong educational system, our democracy is going to be in trouble and our economy is going to be in trouble. So let me just conclude by thanking all of you sincerely. Being a teacher today is not an easy job. And it's not just teachers, it's your support staff as well. So let us go forward together and understand that in the richest country in the history of the world, we're not going to cut education. We're going to create the best educational system in the world. With your help, we're going to do it. Thank you.
Someone who is fighting for our students, our public schools, and the people who have dedicated their lives to teaching and nurturing and driving and feeding them every day. Please give it up for Representative Nikki Baczynski. Give it up, give it up, give it up!
Good afternoon, NEA! Are there educators out here today? Standing for our students. Are there education support professionals here today? I want to start out by saying I am so proud to represent public school teachers, educators, support professionals in central and southern Illinois. And I want to say, yes, thank you. Let's start out with a thank you for what you do every day for our communities and for our children. I am a proud union member. Yes. And I'm a proud product of public schools. I am a proud granddaughter of members of the Illinois Education Association. And I am here today to stand and fight with you. With you. And I want to say, first of all, I am an aunt of a special needs nephew with Down syndrome that because of the IDEA funding out of the Department of Education, our children in this country with special needs get the care that they need to reach their full potential. You are all a part of that, and I want to say again a thank you for that. I've been meeting with community colleges this week to hear from them about how scared they are about their TRIO funding. TRIO funding helps provide first-time college students for their families to go to a community college and get an education. And that's what we're here fighting for. We're fighting for these young people, for these families, for adults that need training to get into a second career. And what we're fighting against is Elon Musk, an unelected billionaire, and President Donald Trump, who we all know the scam that this is about, which is taking our corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%. And doing that on the backs of our children, on the backs of educators, on the backs of our public school system. And we're here to say hell no. Hell no. Hell no. And so I want to say thank you for being out here in the drizzling, freezing rain, in the snow, and it stands to our commitment to the Department of Education, to public schools in this country, to the fight against privatization. That's why we're here, and I want you to know I am proud to stand with you each and every day. Thank you for what you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Real students, real educators, real communities will be impacted by what this administration is trying to do. Will we let them do it? No! I didn't think so. We want to hear from an educator, someone from the, all the way from the great state of Kansas, a high school special education teacher who was the teacher of the year. Give it up for Brian Skinner!
Hello. I just want to say, I don't know of many other groups that would be willing to stand in the snow and in the rain out here in front of the Capitol other than educators. This is what we do. This is how much we care about our kids. As Becky said, I'm Brian Skinner. I am a high school special education teacher from Newton, Kansas, and the 2023 Kansas Teacher of the Year. Now, it's no secret that I disagree with pretty much all of the policies and agendas of this administration. But there's a big difference between disagreeing with a policy or an agenda and recognizing the very real harm that can come from some of the actions that are being proposed here today. I reached out to public school educators from literally every other state across this country. And from that, I want to take a moment to give you a look insight into their classrooms. They shared with me about how they spend their day working tirelessly to help one of their students who has dyslexia to overcome a stigma, about how they work with one of their students who has a learning disability on strategies for reading and writing, about the extra hours that they put in to help the student who is transferred in late so that they can stay caught up, and about the innovative teaching that they do every day to make sure those who learn a little differently recognize their talent and their worth. Title I funds are proactive measures to help students before they fall behind. Special education funds help those with disabilities recognize their strengths and help them believe in their skills that they need for their future. And federal lunch programs help ensure that every child has a safe place to learn and to grow. We as educators aren't going to let these students fall through the cracks. It's just not in our nature. And the funds that come from federal programs give educators the resources to help every child succeed. One of the most resounding questions that I get in my life is, why am I a public school educator? And it's easy. It's because I see the possibilities from each and every one of the students that I work with. Each and every one of them. It's because I've seen the positive impact of having someone work one-on-one with a student and show how much they care. And it's because, like many of you, I am proud to be a product of public schools. You see, the idea of dismantling the Department of Education and the programs that fall under it, it's not just numbers on a page. There is a human piece to that as well. The reality is that millions of kids and educators rely on these funds to do what they do. The reality is that, unlike private schools, public schools work with every child. And the reality is that taking funds from a system that serves 90% of our kids disproportionately hurts those who either cannot choose or are not chosen by a private school. one of my mottos is education is what we make it. Because nothing is as powerful as when we do it together. It is together that we build connections with students and help them find their place in this world. It is together that we beat back harmful legislation. And it is together that we are going to make sure our voices are heard and these federal programs stay intact. We know that every child deserves to achieve their best success. So when you leave here, my ask is that you tell your stories, you make sure that your voices are heard, because that is what our students deserve. When we fight, we win! Thank you.
Oh, give it up for Brian! So Brian said something that I want to lift up in this moment. That it is only together that we will be able to not only fight back against the illegal and the immoral and the horrible and the chaos and the cruel and all of that. We can only do that and fight for what our students need and deserve if we do it together. It is my honor that here on this beautiful day, when we have any leaders from all over the country gathered here, when my friend and my colleague, when I told her that we were coming, she said, Becky, I have to be there because we are in this fight together. And there is no one I would rather be in this fight with than a history teacher, and the president of the mighty American Federation of Teachers. Give it up for AFT President Randy Weingarten.
And an Eagle fan. I know, but we actually have to have fun. Joy is an act of spiritual and political resistance. Remember that. And every teacher and support personnel I know, in every classroom we are in, understand that, particularly on a bad day. Look, I assumed in this year of 2025, this generation where we need to actually help grow the American dream, I assumed a few months ago what we would be doing right now. It's too rainy to read notes. What we would be doing right now is fighting for more funds, fighting to actually help all of our children. Excuse me for saying, fighting for all of God's children. Fighting to make sure that the kids who needed English language would have the supports that they needed. Fighting to make sure in our rural and urban and suburban schools we would not simply have a computer or two available. We would actually be doing work in terms of AI and making sure all children understood how to navigate AI. Fighting to make sure every child who had some kind of disability would have the funds that they needed to succeed everywhere. Fighting to make sure every young adult who wanted to go to college would have the ability and the financial support from the federal government to go to college. Not just, with all due respect, Elon Musk's children. Fighting to make sure that the 60% of kids that graduate from high school and don't go to college had lots of opportunities in this new world, this diverse world. Lots of opportunities in healthcare, in cybersecurity and all these things. That's what I assumed, that in this moment of time in American history, we would actually put our kids first. And look what we have to do instead. Look what we have to do instead. Exactly. So instead of fighting for the things that they need in, frankly, a system, hear me, Donald Trump, I'm a civics teacher, the states and localities actually do run schools. And they have run schools, and frankly, we want them to run schools. So instead of fighting for more, and instead of fighting for our future, now we have to protect our future. Now we have to protect our children. And we as educators, we as support personnel, we have to work side by side with parents and faith leaders and communities, because we cannot let them pull the rug out of our children's future. And essentially, what is now coming down the pike in this aura of efficiency, it's not efficiency, it's evisceration. It is an attempt to take the funding and take the rights away from each and every child. So as Becky said, it's good that we have each other's back. But more important than she and I having each other's back, we have a job to do other than in our classrooms, which is each and every day between now and whenever that budget gets passed, we have to fight for all of our children. We have to fight for all of God's children so that they have the future that they need. And just like every teacher, when a child is tired or sick, when we give kids food, when we give kids a jacket, when we say, let's actually do a jig on a day like today, we have to stand in as those kids' support to make sure that this administration doesn't pull the rug out from under them. Are you ready? Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight for the funds we need? Are you ready to fight for the public schools our kids deserve? Thank you. And guess what? We are not fighting back alone. We have parents and students, and we have the voices and power of our civil rights organizations and leaders with us today and with us throughout this fight. So I need you to hear from one brilliant leader in this fight, one Miss Melanie Campbell, the president and CEO of the Black Civic Participation. Come on up now. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, NEA, for all you do for our children. I am a product of public schools. How many of you out here went to public school? Raise your hand. So we're going to protect the public schools for the children that are here today. Is that okay? Yes. My mother was a public school teacher after she had 6 of us in a great big town of Mims, Florida. down near Cape Kennedy, if you have never heard of MIMS. She helped put black history in public schools. And so we have an administration that has decided that black folks don't matter, that Hispanic and Latino folks don't matter, that APIA folks don't matter, that women don't matter, that poor folks don't matter, that tell your neighbor, you matter. I'm going to say it again. Tell your neighbor, you matter. Our children matter. Our nation matters. We are the United States of America. We are not the divided state of America. And so the last thing I want to remind us of is, Elon Musk, he'll be gone after a while because some people's ego can't take it for so long. But there's some folks that's not doing their jobs in this building. There's three, and I learned this in civics. They taught civics when I was in school. 3 levels of government, 3 equal levels of government. 1 is the executive branch. 2 is the legislative branch. 3 is the Supreme Court. That's another problem, but we're for another day. So we got to also put pressure on those folks in this building. I'm nonpartisan, so somebody else can say exactly what I'm trying to say. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The ones that are sitting there who control the agenda in the United States Senate and the House. And they got an election, some of them, next year. We're not going to forget, are we? So repeat after me. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Peace and power. Thank you.
Through that DEI executive order is a plan to take away our educators' right to teach and our students' right to learn. So we're going to next hear from somebody who is not putting up with banning of books. She is a media specialist from the great state of North Carolina. Give it up for Turquoise Resume Parker. Thank you. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, North Carolina. Hey. Okay. So, good afternoon, good evening. It's very cold, but I'm Turquoise Lejeune Parker. I am the media specialist at Lakewood Elementary School in the Bull City, Durham, North Carolina. Thank you. I'm with you all representing North Carolina's 1.5 million public school students and 100,000 public school employees. Fully funded public schools include, at a minimum, an instructional assistant in every elementary school classroom, critical support services like our exceptional children's and our English as a second language staff, our bus drivers, custodial staff, cafeteria workers, and more. And that is my focus for today. One of my colleagues, a 4th grade teacher, had previously worked as a hospital-based pediatrician, and she said, what is true in the pediatric ER is also true in our classrooms. It doesn't matter how good you are, how smart you are, how educated you are, how much of an expert you are. You can't help multiple patients at one time. It takes a team to deliver the basic services, and we must deliver for our children, and not just our children, but for all children. Yet far too often as educators, we see that the resources provided are not adequate for us to support our students. If we are very serious about advancing all of our students and all of our public school workers, we need to provide them with more, not less.
And in Durham, I hear from my colleagues, my parents, my friends, and my family members that they cannot believe that this administration, and I won't even say that name, as Secretary of Education, are going to cut funding and dismantle public education as we know it, but we won't allow that. Not on our watch. There is urgency in our classrooms, on our buses, our cafeterias, our offices, in every aspect of our schools. And I know that you all aren't standing out here for nothing, that you all agree that our objective is to not provide our community with a mediocre educational system. Educators and parents agree we want solid leaders who believe in the promise of public schools, who listen to those of us who know the names of our kids who enter our school buildings every morning. Now, you can roll up to my school any morning and you can hear the Temptations blasting from 10 miles away. And especially if you show up on Tuesday for Traffic Cone Tuesday, where we're dressed in life-size traffic cones, greeting kids, and we know every single kid's name. We know their name. We know their families. We know their community. I call them Mrs. Parker's professors. We need leaders who will show up in the snow, march in the streets with us, and understand that we must invest in our students, not dismantle a system. Nobody is free until everybody is free. So we must bring everything that we can out of every instructional day so our students can succeed. And that means that every school employee is key to making that happen. Yet, here I am in the shadow of our nation's capital, hearing about an agenda to dismantle public education and with that, destroy the promise we make to students in my state, in North Carolina, and communities all across this country. We're committed. Our school employees simply cannot run any faster. They can't sleep any less. And they can't add another bus route. They can't cover another class. And they will absolutely never be able to serve 2 and 3 and 4 groups of kids at one time. So here we are in the snow and the rain, still looking cute, demanding that our leaders provide that same dedication to us. We will not, and we will never be able to compensate for what our students are about to lose if we don't defend and fully fund our public schools. And because we're in Black History Month, I want to leave us with this African proverb that reminds us and it signifies the well-being of the community by asking, and how are the children? Thank you.
So you heard Melanie say that we have folks at every level of government that are responsible. And as educators, there are a few things we need to teach some of them. But we have some folks here who are allies of our schools and our students and are going to fight not only out here with us, but they're going to be in the room where it happens. We have ranking member of the House Education and Workforce Committee, Representative Bobby Scott from the great state of Virginia.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you. Are there any teachers in the House? Yeah! All right. Thank you for all you do to educate the next generation. And your work is so important because 70 years ago, in a Supreme Court case, the Supreme Court said that it is doubtful that any child may reasonably be expected to succeed in life if denied the opportunity of an education. Yes. Such an opportunity is a right which must be made available to all on equal terms. Just this week we got numbers for the achievement, and we found that we have a lot of work to do. And so what are Republicans' response? Get rid of the Department of Education. How stupid is that? They didn't have good teachers. That's their problem. We need to make sure that we keep the Department of Education and improve education. Can we do that?
Yes!
Now, we just need 3 Republicans to join us, and we can block all of this foolishness. So call your Republican friends, tell them to join us, tell them to keep the Department of Education, and we can keep educating our children the way they need to be educated. Thank you, teachers, for all that you do.
Keep on fighting for us, Bobby. Keep on fighting for us. And he's not alone. Representative Scott has many allies with him who are fighting for us, with us, inside of that room. One is an educator from the great state of North Carolina. Give it up for Alma Adams! Give it up, give it up!
Good afternoon. Oh, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I wish I was here under different circumstances. But I'm pissed off. Our public education in America is under attack. Not by budget cuts, not by policy debates, but by the people who want to tear it down. Now, we're literally seeing legislation coming out of Pennsylvania Avenue, not in Congress. Yesterday, Elon Musk's so-called Doge was inside the Department of Education on the sixth floor, canceling grants and contracts. And let me say that again. They were in the building. They were gutting federal education programs, slashing funding, and ripping away support from our students, our teachers, and our communities. Now, I was at the department recently with other members of Congress. They wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't let us all in. We needed an appointment, they said. But they're letting those crooks in, not members of Congress, and that's absolutely absurd. And so they're not here to reform education. They're here to dismantle it. They're ripping resources from students. They're cutting lifelines for teachers and handing power to the highest bidder. Now, that isn't governing. That's a hostile takeover, and they know it. And here's what at stake. 26 million students from low-income backgrounds who rely on federal support. 7.4 million with disabilities who depend on special education services. 86 million students and parents counting on financial aid for college or career training. But that's exactly what Trump and Musk want to take away. And what they're doing is damn illegal. You know, the courts have blocked their funding freeze, but now they're doing it anyway because they think nobody will stop them. They're trying to dismantle public education by executive order. You know, they want to defund our classrooms. They want to silence our teachers. They want to leave working families with nothing. And I want to challenge Speaker Johnson today. Pull him back and demand that Trump pull Musk back. Because if you sit by, Mr. Speaker, and let this happen, you are complicit. But let me just tell you this. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to fight for our students. We're going to fight for our schools. We're going to fight for every child in every classroom, in every zip code. Because education is not a privilege, it's a right. And we're not about to let Trump or Musk take that right away. They know they're wrong. They know it. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Damn it.
So I told you we weren't alone, and Representative Adams brought a friend with her. Yeah! We have Representative Becca Ballant from Vermont, and she also is an educator.
So yes, I'm Becca Ballant. I represent the great state of Vermont. I'm here representing rural America, rural school districts, and I'm here as a former teacher. But I'm also here as a mom of 2 kids in public high school. And I'm here today to stand up for our kids and our grandkids across this country and their parents and their grandparents who want to give them a better life. Because that's what education can provide. And
And I'm thinking about all the students I had across all those years that I taught. Kids from all different backgrounds with hopes and dreams. And teachers, we know education is power. Knowledge is power. It gives us all a path to a better life. Whether you're in Maine or whether you're in Illinois, whether you're in Indiana or Texas, you want your kids to have a fair shot. That's what this is about. That's why I'm out here today. I want every single kid, regardless of where they live, to have a better shot at life. And tearing down the Department of Education will not do that. We have to stand with our kids, and that's why we're out here. And I will say, I feel like I'm home in Vermont with this weather. This is amazing. So look, I know millions of Americans right now. They're exhausted. They're tired. They're overwhelmed. I get it. But there is nothing more important to us than our kids. Nothing. So we have a legal obligation to make sure that we provide every student with the resources that they need to succeed. Look, if we let Trump pull down the Department of Education, these kids are not going to have a shot. It's as simple as that. You know it. You know it in your classrooms. You know it as parents. Lots of parents out here. We can't let that happen. That's why I'm out here today, to make sure that our kids have a path to a better life. So say it with me. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Don't lose the fight. Don't lose hope.
Yeah, each one reach one day. Representative Bellin, thank you for bringing with you Representative Suzanne Bonamici from the great state of Oregon. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
Thank you. I'm from Oregon. This is missed, right? I'm Suzanne Bonamici, and I'm here to fight for public education. Thank you to the AFGE, to the AFT, to the NEA, and the whole alphabet of support for our educators and for public schools. So education is the best investment we can make in our students and for our future. I was a public school parent for many years, about more than 15 years, with my two kids all the way through public schools. I went to public schools. My family, my husband, we went to public schools. We believe in public education. And I'm here to tell Donald Trump and his unelected co-president Elon Musk that we will not let you destroy public education in this country. We will not let you dismantle or defund the Department of Education, and we will not let you privatize public education. So look what we're seeing. Sounding familiar because it's right out of the Project 2025 playbook, right? Well, and we know that Trump and Musk and the Republicans in Congress want to defund student support. What does that mean? IDEA. I have never had anyone say to me in Oregon or anywhere, we need less money for IDEA. We need to fully fund IDEA. We need Title I. It's about bringing more equitable opportunities for our students. That's why Title I is so important. Support for professional development for educators and education research, which is now also under attack. Well-rounded education and technology for students. Student aid to help students who want to go to college access affordable higher education, right? And importantly, what else does the Department of Education do? Protect the civil rights and non-discrimination in public education. Well, I'll tell you, we're not going to stand by while the Republicans and Trump try to destroy public education. I have a resolution, House Resolution 94. We're really close to having 80 co-sponsors supporting public education in the Department of Education. We say no to vouchers. Vouchers are directing public dollars to private schools, usually to wealthy families that already have their kids in private education with no accountability. public dollars are for public schools. And for many rural schools, I represent Portland, Oregon, which is Portland, yet it's awesome. But I also have rural districts. Can you imagine? The school is the heart of their community. What would they say if somebody says, okay, we're taking your public school funding away, but here's a voucher for your kid. There's no other school. So, and they also don't need to access, open up access to everyone, and there's no accountability. So we're going to oppose these attacks. We're going to continue to fight. If we can't legislate, we will litigate. We will not back down. We will not stop fighting for public education. Thank you for being in the fight with us.
Thank you. Resolution 94. All right, guys, you heard it. Resolution 94. We need co-sponsors. Go get them. Yeah. Now, we're doing all of this for our students, right? And our public schools and our democracy. So we know that our young people throughout history have stood up and been the activists we need them to be. So I need you to hear from our students right now. Right now. We have with us Adele Crandall. There you go. Come on, give it up. Give it up. Give it up. For our student activists.
Hello, my name is Ada Crandall. I'm 18 years old, and I have attended public schools for my entire life. I also run the student organizing program at Sunrise Movement, where we mobilize young people across the country to fight for climate justice and a livable future, and that includes defending our public education. I am here today because public schools made me who I am. My teachers and classmates made me who I am. School is where I formed my values and worldview and where I learned to be a leader in my community. For so many of my classmates, school was a safe place where they knew that they could go for a meal when there wasn't food at home, where they knew that there would be teachers and staff who truly care and will support them. Trump and his billionaire allies want to take all of this away. They want to divert funding from public schools to line their own pockets. This isn't about streamlining education. It's about defunding public schools at the cost of our black and brown classmates, of working class communities, so that they can continue to profit at our expense. This fight is about whether we invest in students or let billionaires dismantle public education for profit. Young people like me are fighting back because we know that we deserve better. We deserve to go to fully funded classrooms in fully funded schools with teachers who make the wages they need to survive and support us. And let's get this clear. Trump is using executive orders and billionaire allies like Elon Musk to bypass the will of the people because he knows that his education agenda is deeply unpopular. The majority of Americans support public education funding, but Trump and his billionaire allies are trying to manipulate the system to push it through. Young people demand that our elected officials do everything in their power to fight back against Donald Trump. Democrats must use every tool available: procedural obstruction, mass mobilization, engaging the public to stop Republican extremists from destroying our schools and our lives. If Democrats fail to act boldly in this moment, young people like me's futures will be on the line. And they will lose the trust of young voters who expect real leadership in this fight. So right now, our leaders have a choice. In the face of an authoritarian government, what will it be? Students like me or billionaires? My generation will be watching.
They'll be watching, Ada. Give it up for our students. Yes. a representative all the way from the great state of Texas, the 35th district. Right, Kazan, go!
How are we doing today? Do we have teachers in the house? We got any math teachers in the house? We got some. I think that Elon Musk needed better math teachers because he says he's looking for savings by going after the $4 a day we send to make sure students have lunch every day instead of looking at the $8 million a day that go to Elon Musk in federal contracts. We can't let Elon Musk and Donald Trump gaslight us and say this is actually about saving the government money when they're not looking at big pharma, they're not looking at big tech, they're not looking at the billionaires that hide their money in the Cayman Islands. They say they want to come after the Department of Education. They want to come after special education and teachers and students. Why is that? Because they don't want us looking at them, where the real corruption is, where the real fraud is, where the real grifters are. And if we want to stand up for our students, we can say there is the money to make sure every teacher is paid a decent wage. There is the money to not close our public schools. There is the money to make sure you get a higher education and a good job. And Elon Musk and Donald Trump have that money. Don't let them take your money for themselves. Am I right, y'all? Am I right, y'all? We don't need to fire a public school teacher. We don't need to fire a civil rights enforcer. We don't need to fire public servants. We need to fire Elon Musk. Fire who? Fire who? Fire who? Fire who? Remember, they want to cut these programs because they want a billionaire tax break. They want to take our education dollars and hand them out in vouchers to their private corporation friends. And they want to end public education because they know that when we're educated, we can see right through their BS. But you know what? We see through it. The people can stop them. If Democrats hold the line and the people organize, we can push 3 Republicans in vulnerable districts to not just save the Department of Education, but actually save this democracy and make sure we have the future we deserve. But it'll take all of us, y'all. It's going to take all of us. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this fight? We're in it with you. We're in it with you. Thank y'all very much.
Come on, come on, come on!
Stand up like that! Public education is under attack. What do we do? Stand up like that! Public education is under attack. What do we do?
Stand up like that! Yes, yes! We have with us a fellow educator who, like us, we ain't falling for the Ruby Dot. We ain't falling for that. We understand the assignment. Just like this educator from the great state of California, give it up for Representative Mark Takano.
Hello. Well, for 24 years, I worked day in and day out to make sure my students got the best education possible. I'm going to tell you, I know there are teachers here, right? Teachers? Well, I'm going to tell you, the community college trustees, the elected ones, are also here, and the LA Community College trustees came to see Nancy Pelosi and me and the California delegation, and Alberto Roman, who is the acting chancellor of the district, looked at me and said, "Congressman, you don't remember, but I was your student many years ago." Talk about education making a difference. When I was a teacher in the Rialto Unified School System, it was a low-income system. I'm so proud to see Alberto Roman ascend to the heights to be the leader of the LA Community College system. So we all know that public schools are vital. I saw evidence of it today, and that's why I and 30 other members of Congress, including Jan Schakowsky and others, went to the department on Friday to seek a meeting with the acting secretary, demanding that we know, Denise Carter, will you obey an illegal order from the president to shut down the Department of Education? That's what we wanted to know. And you know what? Instead of us being able to go and see her, we walked to the doors that said all access, and they locked us out. They locked us out. The irony of members of Congress on an oversight mission to as a co-equal branch of government, to check the president on his illegal attempt to not spend appropriated monies where they should go for our special education students. You know what? Republicans, Democrats come to me. They're not asking me to shut down the Department of Education. They're asking me to fully fund special education. Fully fund ideas, right. So, look, we just don't need 3 votes from the Republicans. We need a Speaker of the House to stand up for the co-equal branches of government. It's a basic lesson of the 3 branches. So, look, hang tough. We are not giving up. The public schools are your schools. The public schools are my schools. They do not belong to Elon Musk or Donald Trump. So we're going to give hope to everyone that we are going to stand up and fight for democracy, and we're going to stand up for the Constitution, and we are going to make sure, and you know what? We're going to make the Republicans like it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. We have another representative who is going to be in that room and carry our message and our kids' voices into that room and fight like hell. Representative Schakowsky from Illinois!
I have made a decision that I am not going to miss one demonstration against Trump, and I'm here with you. That's it. That's my agenda. That's my agenda. But I want to tell you, I just talked to a press person who said, well, you know, Donald Trump has broken the law. If he refuses to take his responsibility, what are you going to do about it? What are people going to do about it? I said we are going to take to the streets. We are going to win. The man has broken the law. And we're going to fight back every minute, and I am so proud as a prior teacher myself. Yeah. That we are going to win, because when we fight, we win. Right, thank you.
Oh, now you know what? I am a mother and a grandmother. And if I had known about being a grandmother, I would have done that first. Just saying. Can I get a witness? And this I know. Don't mess with moms. Exactly. So
Teachers are
So we want to hear from those people who work with us every day. And Donald Trump's attempt to separate us from our parents, we will not stand for. No. Give it up for Daniela Knight, a mother, an activist, and a leader in Moms Rising. Give it up! Give it up! Give it up!
Thank you, everyone, so much for being here and braving the weather to defend our democracy and our schools. I'm Daniela Knight. I live in Annapolis, Maryland. I'm a proud member of Moms Rising and mom to 3 amazing, talented, hard-working kids in public school. An 8th grader, a 4th grader, and a 2nd grader. My kids, your kids, all kids are the future of our world, and I will always fight for their right to a quality education.
Yes!
Along with millions across the country, I'm horrified by President Trump's aggressions on our democracy and our institutions, especially the direct attacks on the public schools where our kids learn, discover, and grow every day. I'm here today to stand with all of you and say loudly and clearly that moms want our schools to welcome and educate all children. We moms are outraged that Trump's nominee to lead the Department of Education is completely unqualified for the job. Public schools are at the heart of our communities, but time and time again, Linda McMahon has advocated to defund our public schools. She puts politics over the well-being of our students and wants to shift hard-earned taxpayer dollars to private institutions. No. She is unfit for the role, and we're counting on the Senate to reject her nomination.
Come on, Republicans.
We know that our fight is just beginning. Because Trump wants to unconstitutionally dismantle the entire Department of Education. No! The U.S. currently ranks 18th in the world. We need to strengthen our education, not sabotage it. Every child is a gift endowed with value from our Creator, and all have a part to play in the collective story of humankind. It is that ingenuity and potential that the Department of Education seeks to nurture. But Trump wants to take that away and abandon our children and our communities. No.
You say no.
We won't stand for that. Without the Department of Education, kids like mine would lose critical resources like mental health assistance, after-school programs, career prep, and other support that help them thrive and achieve. 2 of my children are neurodivergent, and they rely on the support and accommodations in their 504 plans. Give it up for accommodations to get an equal education. Every kid. Our president wants to take them away.
No.
If that was not enough, as a mom of a transgender kid and a queer kid, I am especially horrified by President Trump's attacks on our LGBTQIA students. My teenage daughter said to me in disbelief, "My president doesn't want me to exist."
We love you.
We love you. We love all of you. Even in times of darkness, when there are forces trying to divide us, I have hope. I know that although so many were lost, we just survived a worldwide pandemic together. Our love for each other is stronger than hate, and these attacks on our children, our schools, and our institutions of government will not stand.
That's right.
Every student deserves a quality education. Every child deserves to be safe and valued at school, regardless of gender identity, orientation, immigration status, race, or any other factor.
Exactly.
Every kid. Along with Moms Rising, moms, dads, teachers, and caregivers are making our voices heard, and we're ready to fight for the schools and the education that our children deserve. They have the funding they need to provide high-quality education, cultivate learning for all abilities, schools that are safe, welcoming, and affirming to students of all identities, where teachers are paid what they deserve and treated with respect, schools that are free from gun violence, where all students are treated with dignity and respect. They can discover their gifts, their passions, reach their potential, and join us all in the fight for a better tomorrow. Our communities, our economy, and our collective future depends on our children's health and our public schools. I ask you today to stand against unconstitutional executive overreach, against Linda McMahon and defunding the Department of Education. Moms are counting on Congress to act decisively and protect our children, protect our schools, and protect our public education. Thank you so much for having us today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing strong. Our voices will be heard. Thank you. transgender children, don't try suicide.
Support trans youth!
Students of America, we love you, we support you, and we will fight for you. That's what it's about. That's why we're here. We have another mom with two children in public education who happens to represent the people of Hawaii. Give it up for Jill Takudan.
Aloha, everyone. I am trying to bring as much warmth and sunshine here as I can. Whew. But I will tell you something. I am here in Congress because of public school teachers and our public schools. Let's give a hand for all of them right now. And I am 6,000 miles away from my children. I leave them every weekend for days and days at a time. I haven't seen them for 10 days. Why? Because we need to be here fighting for them in this building. I can tell you something. President Musk and his sidekick Trump, that wrestling lady, they ain't never spent a day in a public school. They don't know what it's like to learn and to realize this is your greatest chance, your equalizer. And now they want to shut it down. The very people who paid for their kids to go to private school, they want to take every opportunity away now from our children. Hell no, is what I say. We are here to tell you, mahalo, thank you for fighting. We will not stop. Whether it's raining, snowing, sleeting, or hot, we will fight till this day, side by side you. And I want to just tell you, mahalo and thank you to the NEA. Let's give them a hand. I know AFT is here somewhere too. And the American Federation of Government Employees. Let me tell you, we are here for our schools, but our federal employees need our help. They need aloha too. So thank you so much. I'm going to end this real quick, but let's say it 3 times what's on this banner. Protect students, protect public schools. Who's with me? Protect students, protect public schools. Protect students, protect public schools. Protect students, protect public schools. Thank you, my friends. Mahalo.
All right. We have our federal employees right here in front of us. Right here in front of us. As they rallied yesterday, they are here rallying with us today. And we will stand up for them. Just like they stand up for our kids and our families and our communities every day. Let me hear you say AFGE, 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 AFGE. Yeah, we with you. Yes. From the great state of Massachusetts, we have Jim McGovern. Where are you, Jim? There you
I stand before you as the proud brother of 2 sisters who are Worcester public school teachers in Massachusetts. This is personal to me. I love teachers. And it takes, I'm losing my voice, I can't believe it. And it takes an extraordinary amount of self-delusion to think that Elon Musk or Donald Trump give a shit about our public schools or about our teachers or about our students. Their kids all have private tutors. They don't go to public schools. They've probably never stepped in to a public school. But I'll tell you this, I am here to stand in solidarity with all of you. These guys want to fight? We'll give them a goddamn fight. And we're going to win. When we fight, we win. Thank you very much.
Education doesn't just provide resources and support for our K-12 students and schools. They provide support for higher education, for our students and for our educators, faculty, and staff.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. That take care of our students. So we need to hear their voice. And we have with us Alec Thompson from the National Council of Higher Education. Our professor and educator. Come on up here, Alec.
Well, this weather's not so great, but I love fighting for democracy, and I'm happy to be out here with all of you. As President Pringle said, I'm a community college professor, and I'm the proud father of 5 children. And I hope they can hear my voices because I got to hear yours today. So I want to stress 3 important things when we think about public education and higher ed. I want you to first think about it being a public good, and this is an effort by this administration and the people who are enemies of public education to turn it into a private select piece for others, not for everyone. We need that education, we need public education, and we need a public good to be out there for you. And one of the first ways they do that is to attack it through accessibility, right? They want to make it unaffordable, right? They want to make this something that you can't send anybody to go to. We don't believe in that. We think it belongs to everybody. We think it should be accessible to everyone. If you look at the NIH discussions about in-kind benefits and you want to talk about arbitrary stops to grants and funding, that is not going to put the end to college university. It'll just put the end to the people who can afford to go to college university. It will be a cost shift. Students will pay that, and they will pay that going through private predatory loans that they will then saddle their futures with. We are not making public education better by denying accessibility. The other plank we have to consider is you must remember that this is about making things inclusive, right? The department that heads up the Office of Civil Rights is under attack and being removed, right? We have public language that says let's remove DEI. This not only tells us our curriculum is going to be shortened, but it tells people who are in those categories, you're not welcome in our important public institutions. We need to change that. We need to make sure that that happens. And finally, going to college, university is a transformative public service. It transforms your life. Your individual life is better for that happening. Society is better for that happening. We are turning that into a select, small group of people who treat it as a vanity exercise versus creating a change in our society. I hope you'll join with me and raise our voices today and tomorrow and raise them for your colleagues, raise them for your students, raise them for your family. And stick with me and fight for public education at the K-12 level, but also in higher ed. Thank you so very much.
Our final speaker this afternoon is a very dear friend. Yeah, we're a very dear friend. She is not only an educator and champion, she is one of the most powerful voices that we have inside that room. She is our forever Teacher of the Year, Johanna Hayes from the great state of Connecticut.
Thank you, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to wrap it up quick so that you all can get out of the rain. But this right here is the reason I'm here. This right here is the reason I came to Congress. I had a purpose before anybody had an opinion on this topic. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. So while they talk in platitudes and look at this as line items, I have the face of a student burned into my memory every time I take a bill. Every time they're talking about cutting a program. Every time they're talking about what teachers actually do in the classroom. That is why I'm here. That is why I came to Congress, and I will never stop. I will never stop standing up for those kids because, as you just heard, college is not a vanity project. My kids deserve the opportunity to at least try if they choose to. If they want to get a technical education, they should be able to do that. If they want to go to college, they should be able to do that. Make no mistake about what is happening here. 1 million children attend private voucher school programs. 49 million children attend public schools and deserve access to a high-quality public education. Even if they wanted to shut the department down, there is no way they could find spaces for all of these students. There is no way. What they fail to realize is that the special education students that will be affected by this. An IEP is a legal document. So removing the funding, removing the department, does not remove the obligation to serve those children. So one of two things will happen, and I want everybody to listen closely. Either your communities will have to make some hard choices about what other things they have to cut so that they are not breaking the law, or your property taxes are going to have to go up so that they can provide services to those children who are protected by the law. So educate yourselves. Their problems and the challenges and their gripes with the Department of Education about curriculum, instruction, and classroom materials is not even what the department is in charge of. You already know. Those decisions are decided at the local level by state and local boards of education. You would think that someone wanted to dismantle the Department of Education would have at least did their homework first. Would have at least knew what the department did. Would have at least knew what the department did, but this is a calculated, targeted attack. And I'm not going to say DEI, I'm going to say diversity, equity, and inclusion, which doesn't just mean black and brown faces. It means students who learn differently. It means students who have special needs. It means students who have different religious backgrounds. It means students who are English language learners. It means literally everybody. It means having a ramp that goes into your public school. It means your behavior therapist or your occupational therapist that just helps a student to hold a pencil because they have the information in their head and can't write it down. I think that we have to do a better job of letting America know exactly what this means. You want to cut some programs? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What does your kid need at their school? Because I promise you, when you start talking about cutting the programs and the services that families depend on and that they don't get anywhere else but inside of their public schools, this conversation will shift. So listen, y'all wear me out this week. Y'all wear me out this week. But there is, and we're just getting started. We only 3 weeks in. We got 1,437 days to go. But not that I'm counting. But this is so fundamental to who I am. I grew up in the projects, and now I'm a congresswoman. You don't do that without sitting in somebody's classroom, having somebody's teacher and guidance counselor and bus driver and after-school program and before-school program, somebody looking over you and making sure that every time you step out of line, they put you right back on course. You don't do that without somebody caring enough about you to breathe life into you. And the fact that they don't care enough about our kids, about your kids, to prioritize making an investment in their future and to try to illegally seize the funds that have already been set aside for them. Not on my watch. Let me tell you something. We're about to find out what happens when you mobilize 3.5 million public school teachers. We're about to find out what happens when you tell parents, I'm coming for your kids. I'm coming for your school. I'm coming for your teachers. We in the find out stage now. We in the find out stage now. Because there is no future of a nation if we can't even agree that investing in our children, investing in their global competitiveness, making sure that they have what they need to be on green and ready to learn. And if they want to talk about reforming the Department of Education, about opening the books, about I'm game. Because if we're having a real conversation, it's going to include why our kids come to school hungry. Why are they homeless? Why don't their families have access to family medical leave so they can stay home with them when they're sick? Why didn't they have birth to 3 initiatives? Why weren't there enough Head Start slots? Why didn't their parents have pre and postnatal care? You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, listen, stay hydrated. Buckle up. This is going to be a bumpy ride, but there is nothing in this moment that is more important than this. Without educating our children, nothing else we do in this building matters. Nothing else matters. So thank you. Thank you. Like I said, I had a purpose before anybody had an opinion on this topic. And I am walking in that purpose because every one of you right now today is teaching me. Me. 12-year-old me is in your classrooms, in your neighborhoods, in your community, just fighting for a shot. Just trying to breathe, literally and figuratively, air. So we just start. We start today, and we keep going because our kids are dependent on us to get it right now. Thank you. This is what democracy looks like. 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 This is what democracy looks like.
Hey! Give it up for Congresswoman Hayes! I want to thank you all for hanging in here in this beautiful weather. But our work is not done. It is not inside this beltway. It is in every congressional district across this country where you will find an NEA member. Lift up your voices and don't stop. I need you to hear Cesar Chavez saying, there's no turning back. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. NEA, we will win because ours is a revolution of the heart and of the mind. When we fight